Allow me to talk to the youth for a second. Are you an Indian teenager with no friends, no love to call your own, and absolutely no promising prospects for the future? Well then clearly you've never heard of the Desi Glow Up. What's the Desi Glow Up? You've never heard of the Desi Glow Up? It's the theory that all South Asian people spend their youth remarkably, tremendously, extremely, unbearably, nauseatingly ugly, but somehow, some way, become beautiful when they turn into adults. Don't worry, kids. Life may suck now, but all your problems will be solved once you become hot. You can dunk on all the racist haters with how sexy you are. People will move out of the way for you on the street. The birds and the trees will serenade you with their song as you walk past. Your ancestors will smile down upon you, and you'll get everything you ever wanted once you have your Desi Glow Up. Remember, you are not worthy of respect and hold no societal value whatsoever unless you're fuckable. We're all late bloomers, so don't worry if your Desi Glow Up hasn't happened yet. There's still time for you. And if you don't get hot, let's hope you get rich. And if you don't get rich, let's hope you marry rich. And if you don't marry rich, you can always become a YouTuber. Welcome to the Coconut Republic.
I'm a creep. I'm a weirdo.
What is going on with my boys? And in some cases, gals. Peep the new setup, a little bit of a budget increase. Not enough of an increase to get an actual microphone, but I have this little mold spore growing out of my phone, so it'll do for now. In this video, I plan on getting a little personal with you. I plan on telling you a little bit about my childhood, my struggle to find my place in this world, and why I think so many diaspora Indians struggle with the same thing. We've all heard this discussion that the representation of Indians in media is less than satisfactory. You know, that we're all wimpy and nerdy and unattractive and weird and awkward. It's hard for me to assert that those stereotypes aren't true when I match that description to a T. To quote all the jerk-offs in my comments section, "Oh, stereotypes exist for a reason. Every Indian I've ever met was such a loser." Hey, first of all, fuck off. Second of all, just because I'm a loser doesn't mean all of us are losers. As a matter of fact, that's part of the reason why I founded the Coconut Republic in the first place. There was already a lot of discourse on the internet about what it means to be in the diaspora. It's just that I never found any of it relatable, you know? There was this video I saw of this roundtable discussion where this guy was saying something along the lines of like, you know, this is all part of my journey of discovering my hyphenated identity. He is lucky I was not moderating that discussion. I would have looked at him and I would have said, take your corny hyphenated ass and get the fuck out. I'd see video after video of Indian girls online talking about their struggle of trying to fit in with all their white friends. And I was sitting there like, wait, you guys had friends? Now, of course, their struggle is just as valid as my struggle. It's just that that wasn't my experience growing up. When I was in grade school, for the life of me, I could not make friends. My parents always assumed that it was because I was going to school that was full of kids that didn't look like me. So we moved to India, and I actually went to school there for a few years. And wouldn't you know it, I didn't fit in there either. I would say it was arguably harder for me to fit in India, if you can believe that. Yeah, you all are like, yeah, we can believe it. We were speaking completely different languages to each other, and we were still speaking English, mind you. It's just a different variant of English. Guys, do you know what they call a trash can in India? A dustbin. They don't call it an eraser, they call it a rubber. It's not a truck, it's a lorry. It's not a sidewalk, it's a footpath. So I turned to my parents and I asked them, what's wrong with me? Why can't I make friends? And they said, well, you didn't fit in with the Americans and you didn't fit in with the Indians. Gara, maybe you're just a fucking weirdo. True dat. The Desi Glow Up didn't exist when I was in high school. It's a relatively new concept with the advent of Instagram and the rise of the content creator as a career option. For those unaware, there was a trend online where you would post a video where you would start off with a picture of your younger self, typically less conventionally attractive, and then you would end with a picture or video of your current self and show how drastically more attractive you are now. And even though this trend is a little old, every now and then the same type of video resurfaces with a new trending audio or a new funny caption, and the main point still stands. See how ugly I used to be? But look how attractive I am now! Am I worthy of your adoration now? You might accuse me of doing the same thing in the thumbnail of the very video that you're watching right now, and you would be correct. It's called clickbait. And if you're still sitting here listening to me, that means it worked. You might also accuse me of being anti-woman because most of the people that participate in this trend are other Indian girls. Oh, is it anti-woman now to criticize women on the internet? What are you gonna do? Are you gonna revoke my feminist card? Look, I obviously don't think there's anything wrong with putting on makeup or doing your hair or wearing new clothes or taking any steps to beautify yourself, whatever that may look like for you. What I have a problem with is showcasing your beauty, but making your younger self the butt of the joke. And there's one thing I don't understand about this trend. Correct me if I'm wrong, but aren't teenagers supposed to be ugly? Adolescence is the only time where it's socially acceptable to experiment with your looks and try new things. And you're going through puberty and your body's going through all these changes, so it's normal to look a little off. But suddenly now it's not okay? If teenagers aren't ugly, what else are they supposed to be? Sexy? You think teenagers should be sexy? The reason why I'm talking about the Desi Glow Up and being a loser in the same video is because I think the two concepts are correlated, especially in this day and age when social media is such an integral part of maturing and figuring out who you want to be. And while we're on the subject, the Great Shift? I didn't even know that was a thing until the Brown Experience made a video on it. It's the concept that South Asian people are finally being perceived as attractive by the general public. And by the general public, I think you know who I mean. I have a problem with the trend of the Desi Glow Up because it implies that the reason so many Indian people struggle with socializing or fitting in is because they're not conventionally attractive, when in reality, I feel like it's so much more complicated than that. One of the reasons I struggled so much to make friends, aside from the obvious, I was this weird, I was this weird like from the get-go. I came out of the womb like this, okay? So I've always been a little kooky. One of the reasons I struggled so much to make friends as a young person was because I never saw it being done. You learn from your parents, and I'm just gonna be honest with you. I love my parents, but they are some of the most antisocial people I know. Growing up, I never once saw them go out with their friends or host a house party. And I was always taught from a very young age that if someone invites you to their house, you should always say no. I was taught that if someone invites you to their house, even if they're your friend, you should always say no, because if you go, they're going to think of you as a freeloader. Now that I'm older, I've learned that if you continually decline invitations to go to someone's house, they get mad. They consider that rude. In their mind, they're thinking, why doesn't this bitch want to come over? Does she think she's too high and mighty for me? I suppose I should cut my parents some slack because they did the impossible. They moved halfway across the world with no help. They didn't know anybody here in the United States. They didn't have any family sponsorship to come here. Nothing. It's such an extremely isolating experience, and I'll never know what that feels like. And I feel like if I tried to undertake the same thing, I'd crumble to dust. You're in a very vulnerable state when you're in a new country, so you have to be ultra picky of who you let into your inner circle. They've always been able to make it on their own, so who needs friends anyways? Friends are the ones who make life worth living. Funnily enough, in high school, the time when most people struggle with this, was where I found my stride. I was finally able to make some friends with some weirdos just like me. The goof troop, as I like to call them. But I would rarely see them outside of school. The few times that I did hang out with them, I was shamed for it. I was accused of enjoying spending time with my friends more than I enjoy spending time with my family. And I was like, yeah, that's how it is with most people. Most people feel the same way. It's not that I don't love my family. It's just that I see you people day in, day out. I deserve a change of scenery. There are so many instances I can think of where I was guilt-tripped out of going out with my friends, or I was just straight up forbidden from going out. Hell, there were times in elementary school where my dad didn't even let me go on field trips. So is it any wonder that I never developed those crucial social skills that every adult needs to survive?
Oh, here she goes again, blaming her parents for all her shortcomings.
Yeah, what of it? I'll fucking do it again. There comes a point when you can no longer blame your parents and you have to take your healing journey into your own hands. So then I went to college, and in college I spent less and less time with my goof troop because we were all going down different paths in life. I went to college for nursing, and we were a very small cohort, so we had all basically trauma bonded over the same things. And I thought we were getting along pretty well. I thought we were becoming friends. That is until one Thanksgiving. Imagine my surprise when I open up Instagram and I see that some of the girls have thrown a little Friendsgiving get-together. And as I'm swiping through Instagram stories, I see the same Friendsgiving tablescape through 30 different angles. These girls threw a Friendsgiving without me. That means I'm not their friend. And they did this not once, not twice, but 3 times throughout the course of nursing school. Why didn't you invite me? What was the reason to actively exclude me like that? Did all the hors d'oeuvres have beef in them? Was it because I had a dark sense of humor? I mean, we're gonna be nurses. You can't be scared of a few dead dad jokes. Your dad's gonna die someday too, you know. For whatever reason they had to exclude me, it greatly affected me. I thought I had left that awkward phase behind. I thought I had finally learned how to fit in, but apparently not. So when you consider my less than satisfactory social skills, the fact that I had picked the hardest major in my college, the fact that all my classmates were cunts, and the COVID pandemic, to top it all off, my college experience could best be described in 2 words: profound loneliness. But if you know me, you know that I'm a glass half full type of gal, even if that glass is full of piss. I truly believe that all those years spent alone has shaped me into the woman that sits before you today. If you're a weirdo long enough and unapologetically enough, you too will find your goof troop. If you just keep trying and putting yourself out there, you can reverse whatever conditioning your parents instilled in you, you can break the curse, and you can make a friend. And because I've been through all of this, I am so appreciative when people actually take effort to include me in their plans. You know, when people add you to a party planning group chat, or they change plans to a different day just so you're available to come, or they look up a restaurant ahead of time to check the menu to see if they have vegetarian options for you. To be known is to be loved. In case it wasn't blaringly obvious in the intro, I think the Desi Glow Up trend is total bullshit. My younger self was a badass, and she deserves every ounce of love, respect, and friendship that my current self does. I will say, if there's one way I've glowed down, I feel like I've gotten less funny with age. I used to be hilarious. I look back on old journal entries and old Snapchat posts and I think, man, I used to be so funny. What happened? Ah, yes. Let me go home now to my lovely mother and my beautiful wife. I cannot wait to see my kids! Perhaps the cruelty of the world has just dampened my youthful joy. I don't think I've physically glowed up because I never disliked the way I looked in the first place. As a matter of fact, I really liked the way I looked. However, I always believed that the opposite sex didn't find me attractive. There's a distinction between those two things, feeling beautiful versus feeling attractive. But I won't elaborate on that here because I want this video to pass the Bechdel test. And plus that topic deserves its own video and its own angry rant. So I'm gonna end this video by telling you all the ways in which I believe I glowed up that has nothing to do with physical appearance. Number 1, I graduated nursing school, I got my license, and I'm working as an actual real-life nurse. I never thought I could do it. The whole time I was in college, I was so sure that I was gonna flunk out, I was gonna drop out, or I was gonna get struck down by lightning. Something would prevent me from finishing and accomplishing this goal. I never thought I was smart enough or even mentally strong enough, but clearly, I must be if I'm still standing. Number 2, I am completely financially independent. Money made, bills paid, life gave me lemons. I made lemonade. Number 3, I started weightlifting. Going to the gym used to terrify me, but I think I just needed a change in mindset. I mean, big, buff, sweaty men huffing and puffing and moaning and groaning. Looks like I don't need any headphones. Number 4, and this is probably the more drastic one. I used to be a very jealous person. The jealousy used to be so intensely bitter that for the first 22 years of my life, I don't think I ever felt genuinely happy for someone before. Like, oh, you got into your dream college? Congrats! Hope you flunk out and go into debt. You got engaged? It won't last. You're pregnant? I hope you... Nope. I won't say that I've completely overcome this or that I'm perfect, but I'm a lot better than where I used to be. And that's all I can ask for. So anyways, there's my Desi Glow Up. This year, I'm throwing a Friendsgiving at my place, and all of you are invited. The theme of the party is Glow Up, and we're all gonna come dressed as our teenage selves. And we're all gonna take turns standing in front of a mirror, and we're gonna tell our reflection how proud we are of them, and how everything is gonna get better one day so long as we just never, ever, ever give up. So everyone please RSVP in the comments if you plan on coming. Everyone is to bring one home-cooked dish to share. Store-bought is fine, but you will be publicly shamed for it.